one for the money. Then I hear Elvis go, two for the show. Oh my God. It's like saying,
He's teaming up with Elvis in our Sir Cliff exclusive. Find out what happened when our Ross was invited on an early summer holiday. Then after her... Right, still to come this morning.
you will never know, and I know you've got a joke about things like that, but you will never know what I went through. We want to try and get something.
After what he describes as the worst time of his life, don't miss what happened when Sir Cliff invited our Ross into his Barbados home. Right now, it's time to head over to Los Angeles with our Ross. Morning, Ross. And well, you've had a good time of it, haven't you?
My life is always very good. When I grow up, I think I do want to be me. But yes, I got to go to Barbados. I got to meet up with the wonderful Sir Cliff Richard. It was sunny. It was windy too. Not only has he got a new single out with Elvis Presley, Blue Suede Shoes, but he has something in common with you. Check this out. You have something in common with our wonderful Lorraine Kelly, which is you're both Trekkies.
Yes, I mean, I'm still a Trekkie in terms of I watch the movies as soon as they come out.
Yeah.
And I love the movies, I have to say.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was one of us. That's good. I like that. Do you know what? It's not the first time you've met him, though. You've met him before.
No, I've been very lucky. I've known him many, many years. In fact, I think the first time was about 1990 I met him, and I actually met him on the tennis court. We had a doubles match. I was playing with Virginia Wade against my dear old pal Sue Barker and Cliffy. That was way back in 1990. But let's get now to Barbados. Obviously, 2 horrendous, horrific years for Sir Cliff, and Barbados very much part of the healing process for him. Sir Cliff, it's an absolute privilege to be here. I've heard so much about this house from various friends, but this is sensational.
Well, I think it is. I mean, I wake up every morning and from my room, I've got a big terrace, and I walk onto the terrace and I think, how the heck did I get here?
We've seen it in the movies.
I think about the house as the most incredible view of the sea. I mean, Ross, we couldn't have arranged for that to happen.
Your yacht?
Yes.
With Sir Cliff.
No, it's not yours.
No, mine's slightly smaller than yours.
What is island life like for you? What's a kind of typical day?
Well, you know, I reside here, but I don't live here all the time. I love it here. The people are nice. It's a green island. I come here and I can really, you know, recharge.
Yeah.
This house actually has a gift shop. That's how big it is.
But nothing's on sale.
Oh, no.
With all that you went through, was this like almost like a sanctuary, place of solace?
Yes, it was. But funnily enough, even where I got the bad news, that still was my sanctuary. And it's interesting that when I got that phone call to say that there were policemen about to raid my apartment, it was 22 months and 2 days later that I was in Portugal, in my house, when I got the good news. In fact, funnily enough, I mentioned charging batteries here. In fact, I really charge my batteries when I'm in Portugal. And if you were to ask me, what do you do in Barbados, I'd say I come here to run them down. It's just as simple as that.
Don't you step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything but take me over my blue suede shoes.
A new single. How wonderful is that in the year 2017 to go? Sir Cliff, another single.
I know. Well, look, in recording terms, things have changed drastically for me. I don't go into the studio with a whole bunch of fabulous new songs and then record them. I've started doing these albums, 2 albums I've done now of classic, iconic rock and roll songs. The new single is me with Elvis. It was quite difficult recording the song. I've got my headphones on and I'm singing, well, there's one for the money. Then I hear Elvis go, 2 for the show. I'm thinking, oh my God. So I sang with this iconic voice in my ears, and I now can claim to have sung a duet with Elvis.
The incredible thing is you never ever met Elvis, but
No.
you went to Graceland. I mean, you've done all, you did everything, but...
Yeah, meet him. I know. I also, very early on in my career, some friends of mine went to Italy in a car. We went through Germany to come back. We drove. And we went to, was it Wiesbaden he was at? Anyway, we couldn't fail it. We looked around everywhere. Of course, we knew that this was Elvis's house because all over the fence was Elvis, Elvis, love you, Elvis, and all that. And my friend said, well, you're the fan. Go and knock on the door and see if he's in. I went, oh, okay. So I knocked on the door, and this big burly guy said, yeah, what can I do for you? I said, is Elvis in? It's like saying, can Elvis come out to play? He said, no, he's not. But that was as close as I got. We'll meet up there.
What will you say to him?
I'll say thank you very much. In the end, I think when I meet Elvis, I don't think it's going to be a difficulty talk. I may have... Jesus can translate.
That's great, Ross. Really good. And you've got lots more to come.
I certainly have. And how about a royal request from Prince Harry? All ahead.
Oh, look forward to that. Thank you, Ross. And still, you look so cute.
That youthful figure there, yeah, that was back in '95. I was really lucky to be in the musical Summer Holiday. We were in Blackpool, we were then in the West End. Oh. And Cliff was such a huge supporter of it. Of course, it was the musical version of his hit movie Summer Holiday. And in fact, when I went to Barbados to meet up with Sir Cliff, I took my original poster of the movie of Summer Holiday and he signed it. Ross, so great that you did Summer Holiday, but I did it better. And he did. And he does everything better. So let's go back to Barbados and catch up with the man himself and talk about everything from his career to the lady that we miss so much, Scylla, who was one of his neighbours in Barbados. Back to the beautiful island. We go back to the beginning of your career, and it's interesting when you were saying about how now in the pop world, you know, when your singles weren't going straight up the chart.
The interesting thing is, I know Justin Bieber comes along and everything. He's 17 and a half. 17 and a half, I'd make my first record. So like Justin Bieber, a lot of us in those days were of a similar age starting.
I mean, again, you know, you think of Barbados, you think of Scylla here as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, Scylla and Bob Monkhouse, they were neighbours. And I got to know her because we were invited to all the same parties. And so I phoned her once to say, are you going to Eddie Healy's party? And she said, yeah. I said, well, shall I pick you up at 7? Because she didn't drive here. Well, you know, I have to admit, after about 5 years, I was her chauffeur. But the only thing was, Ross, the only car I had at the time here was a truck. Oh. She said, oh, Chuck, how am I going to get in? Then I opened the door for her. She said, Chuck, how am I going to get out? So I said, you slide both your feet out. Moments like that I'll always remember for her. She just made me laugh. She was full of fun. Everybody loved her here. She was part of the Barbados scene.
Yeah. And it does make you think about your own mortality, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure it does. And she died because she had an accident. Nothing we can do. You can't control you can't plan what's going to happen to you in that respect. What about the future? I said, well, I think I'll be playing tennis when I'm 75. I am. And that was 25 years later. So when I say, in my book, I said, what I want to do is play tennis when I'm 100. Well, that's only 24 years away.
Oh, yeah.
Hello. It can happen.
In terms of, again, just we're talking about the last couple of horrific years, what about your faith? Did your faith change at all?
I think I have a deeper faith now because it's a far more simple thing now. You know, I mentioned support. When it happened, I had people coming down that week to stay in Portugal. I was distraught. I'd been on the floor in tears. In the end, where no one can be with you is when you're going to bed. You're on your own. And that's when I became really dependent on God. I prayed night after night. I sit in this chair most nights here in Barbados with a rum punch and watch the sun go down. I have spent so much time praying down here.
It's so funny how we don't talk anymore.
It was Prince Harry that he liked rock and roll. Is that right? I remember from...
Yeah, but I used to ski in a place called Lech in Austria. Charles and Diana used to come there. Then they brought the children there. We'd always sing in the bar of the hotel. I saw Harry go... We stopped and I said, Prince Harry, do you know any rock and roll? He said, well, yeah. He said, do you know Great Balls of Fire? Great Balls of Fire? I said, yeah, I do, but how do you know? Oh, Mummy plays it all the time.
Have you almost said everything that you've ever wanted to say?
I've done everything that I wanted to do in terms of my musical career, and I've been in films, and I've acted in plays, and I've done musicals. So in that respect, I've done pretty well everything. But there's always new factors that come into your life. I mean, the latest one, of course, is this nasty 2 years.
Yeah.
You will never know, and I know you've got a joke about things like that, but you will never know what I went through. We want to try and get something changed. So therefore, something new has come into my life that has nothing to do with music, but has something to do with lifestyles and the injustices that can take place in our society.
I'm looking forward to our tennis game on your 100th birthday. I can't wait.
Me too. No, I can wait. Let's put 100 off for a
All right
while.
then.
Oh, Ross is a great guy, isn't he?
He's absolutely brilliant. And just quickly, that bit you were saying about you'll never know was that I said that I'd walked... I was doing a gig with Sir Cliff, and he walked on, he got a standing ovation. He walked off, and he got a standing ovation. And I said, how does that feel? And Sir Cliff turned to me and said, you'll never know.
Oh, I feel like giving you a standing ovation now. Ross, thank you. Talk to you next week.
Thank you.
You, my love.
Thanks.
Now...